In the realm of music, the adjective genius is not to be used carelessly. As long as they produce music that speaks to them personally, anyone can use it to characterize their favorite musicians. Nevertheless, the capacity to compose melodies and develop music to elevate it to the level of true art is a different talent. Despite the chance to collaborate with certain rock and roll icons, Sammy Hagar was aware that he still had a task to complete. However, the Red Rocker never oversteps its bounds. No one would hear him trying hip-hop or trying to make a lounge record, like Rod Stewart did in his later years, but listening to his voice, it's clear that he didn't need to. His fiery tone was perfect for fiery rock, and when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, Hagar was the perfect choice to bring them back to radio. Hagar is also never afraid to have pop songs in her song collection. He could still scream like the best of the rest, but he came from the same school as Robert Plant, where both sides of the voice were emphasized. So, instead of singing Jump every night, he can also switch to something heavy like Get Up, or a soft ballad like Love Walks In. Despite the variety, it was clear that heavy had taken over in the 1990s. The band did have one surefire hit early in the decade with Right Now, but seeing Eddie compete with Nirvana in the charts was never going to happen. However, Hagar only had to wait a few years before some truly heavy bands started to emerge. Metal fans were taken aback when Tool began to acquire popularity, even though Nine Inch Nails had previously created music alongside albums like Nevermind. Grunge had essentially wiped off mainstream metal in genres like thrash, but Maynard James Keenan helped elevate it by producing some incredibly powerful-sounding songs, and Danny Carey playing the most incredible drumming. At this stage, Hagar only had a few years left in Van Halen before he called it quits, and he knew he was listening to someone peerless when he heard Anima saying, "That record was so great musically and as far as I could go that it pushed and inspired me. It was so innovative, so raw, so dark." I was friends with Maynard, and I think he's one of the great artists of our time. He's a genius, a complete Renaissance man. Sadly, grunge died before it could really take off, but Tool gave metal music credibility at the time. Listening to Lateralis in the 2000s gave fans a taste of what the progressive side of nu metal was all about, since the genre was overrun by bands who seemed too theatrical for their own good. Hagar's use of words that most people would have used to describe Eddie in his heyday is no accident, but it was far from Van Halen territory, and it's unlikely that she would ever guest star on a Tool record. Keenan always had the larger picture in mind while he was crafting Tool songs, and with the rest of the band behind him, bringing those odd time signatures to life, they were unstoppable.